Hello and welcome to the quick video about this thing here. I occasionally get these kind of things in to have a look at. I love these kind of multi-function gadgets that are starting to come out now. In fact, I've done a couple of videos on them, and having something like this that not only acts as a Lipo Checker, also is really handy to do things like testing whether or not the signals from your receiver or your satellite receiver are working too. Now this one is the URUAV MC-6S 1 to 6 Lipo battery checker. This one came from Banggood. I'll pop a link in the description. Interesting, the URUAV logo's on here because for those of you that are eagle-eyed, you'll notice that that branding was all over the X9 Lite Pro radio that we looked at very recently. Now it doesn't come in any particularly fancy package, it just comes in this little bag with a little manual included too. Now it does two main things, but one of them's quite smart. The first is it works as a pretty standard Lipo checker. So you can plug in your Lipo, make sure you're getting the polarity the right way round, and it will show the different voltages of each of the cells. And from the testing in here, it's been pretty good. The screen is reasonably bright and can be seen in daylight, although it is quite reflective. So in really bright light, you tend to find that you have to cup your hands around it to cut any glare or reflection on the screen. But the other cool function that I find really useful when I'm doing lots of building and troubleshooting here is the ability to plug in a receiver to test whether or not the signals that you think are coming out the receiver actually are. Now this will do PPM, S-Bus, PWM, but it'll also do the satellite functions as well. So if I just plug in an X8R bound to a little receiver here, stick it into the S-Bus port, set it to S-Bus, you can see I can read out all of the settings, and this could be really handy in some of the Pixhawk and Arduplane stuff I've been doing recently, being able to double check that what I thought was coming out of the receiver is, so I know the problem somewhere else in the build has been invaluable. Now looking around this thing, there are actually an awful lot of ports here, as well as having the connection for the balance tap for the battery monitoring. They've got the 3 pins that you plug in the receiver. There's also some other connections too, and those other connections are USB ports, and those USB ports are great because what it means is that rather than, as we've just seen, you have to power the receiver which then powers the MC-6S, you can just plug it into your USB cable from your computer or whatever it is on the bench that you're working. It'll power it, and then when you plug in your receiver, it will power that too. So it's a very cute little standalone unit. Little switch on the back that changes between 5 volts and 3.3 volts, and that's whether or not you're going to use something like a standard FreeSky receiver, or the 3.3 volts if you're going to be using a satellite receiver and you want to test whether or not you've gotten the DSM stuff out of that. From the playing that I've had here, this seems to work really well, and it's one of those little gadgets that if you're looking to maybe treat your mate for his birthday or Christmas or something, this would make a cute little present. Not only is it a little Lipo checker, because we all need at least one more of those, because mine seem to disappear whenever I need them, but also that extra ability to test the signals is great. Only a couple of things to mention here. First of all, I'm not a massive fan of having it completely open as it is, because moisture and dirt could get inside of this, and when it's rattling around in your bag, you know, something could slip between the different plates or cause damage to it. And secondly, that screen would have been nice to be a matte finish. That reflective finish on bright days does make it a little bit tricky to read in the brightest sunshine. But overall, if you're looking for something that will do those two jobs, that isn't too expensive, or you've been looking for an idea for a pal of yours for a present, this is definitely worth a look. Thanks for watching the video and watching right to the very end. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you like the video and like what I'm doing here, then hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon too. If you really like what I'm doing, you can go the extra mile and become one of my Patreons for access to me directly for support, and also giveaways and regular updates too. If you're looking for particular content, then check out the playlist. I organise all of my videos into playlists, so if you're looking for a particular topic, you can find everything here. If it's called Introduction To, it's designed to start very simply and build on that simple introduction to teach you all about it. If it's called For Beginners, then that is really aimed at people who are brand new to that part of the hobby. You can also search on YouTube for anything that you're interested in using the search function at the top. So iNav Painless 360 will find all of my videos and even the playlist around iNav. So thanks again for watching, and happy flying.